Radio Rahim with Johnny Nelson in the big
Time no
puffy
see.
coat down to the socks.
My kids bought me this for Christmas, and they said, "Dad, don't take it off." And so I'm hot right now, but I thought I don't want to lose it because otherwise, my life. I'm gone.
It's cold outside, enough for this, but it's hot as hell on that stage today.
Seamless link, my friend.
Now you've been around for a lot of fight promotions. You've been seeing a lot of things, but up there today, what did you make of the personal exchange we heard?
So first of all, we're looking at this from a non-emotional connection. We're looking at it, we're cool, we're all right, we're happy, we're in a happy place. These guys up there, they've been obsessing about each other for 12 weeks. They're making weight. The fighters on Saturday night they could lose their life. So it's no nonsense. This is real human feeling. Emotion. So right now they hate each other. Right now they want to say whatever they can to get under each other's skin. I'm quite sure after the fight they'll apologise for some of the things they said. Now with hindsight, maturity. If I was Chris, I'd have said, "And what if I was gay?" Just turn it on and dropped you like that. Chris is a young guy, and Chris is, and plus he's at a point where he's emotionally. He's saying something. He's like, "How do I deal with this?" And I'm starving. I'm angry. But so Chris came back with stuff with your wife and kids. And the whole point of all this is fighters need to get under each other's skin. Because I want you, when you fight me, I want you to come in there. Forget about all the throw 400 jabs this round and 15 combinations. I want you to come out and throw the kitchen sink at me to gas yourself out. Because the less calm you are, the better it is for me because I can pick and pop and stuff. So you're trying to get each other angry. So you had two guys up there that are emotionally charged. So it's a shock to us lot saying, "Oh my God, he shouldn't have said that. He was out of order." And I get that. I'm not justifying what was said up there. What I'm saying is I'm looking at it from the fighter's point of view. And I'm quite sure anybody watching this, you cannot tell me when you've been mad, when you've been pissed off, you've not screamed and shouted and said shit and think, "Shit, I shouldn't have said that." That was one of those occasions. And I'm quite sure that feeling is going to carry on until after the fight. Then after the fight, you get those guys there and they say, "You know what? I shouldn't have said that." They're just human. It's human. It's a human reaction. It's human behaviour. So you say stuff to try and upset somebody, but in a public forum. So, but all of us watching it here, it's, "Oh my goodness, that was, ooh." To them, it matched their emotions, how they are towards. We're like, wow. So let's get that out of the way. The fact is this.
But before we move on from that, there's been the big question all build up, especially this week, as to whether or not Eubank's gotten under Smith's skin.
Yes, he has.
And
yes, he has, my brother.
Okay,
yes,
but has Smith today gotten under
Yes,
Eubank's
he has.
skin?
So we're all expecting Chris to come out there and say something to get under Smith's skin. Smith was charged up already. And I'm telling you now, Chris Eubank is not the kind of guy that Liam Smith would go for a drink with or go out partying with because they're two different characters. Liam Smith's a straight shooter, no-nonsense kind of guy. Chris is big coat glasses, saute. So these guys' characters wouldn't match. So when Chris is saying stuff like, it takes 50%, all this sort of stuff, that's actually really hurting Liam, no matter how much he said he's cool. And I'll tell you how to prove that. When have you ever seen or heard that kind of conversation from Liam Smith in front of camera with a microphone in front of you? So don't tell me the stuff that Chris is saying and doing ain't getting under your skin. Because my man's cussing, my man's you trying to weaponize an accusation. He's saying stuff that you think, shit. So from a calm place and you're not bothered, and my man's not getting to you, why would you go there? And so in that, and Chris didn't know how to deal with it correctly at the right time. And right now, he'll be walking back there saying, "Shit, I should have said this, shit, I should have said that." Chris then reacted, and he got under his skin. Because I could see when Chris sat back, Chris was like, he's pissed off. And that's just how it was. So you've got two guys that got under each other's skin. But actually, who played the blinder there to do it first, to draw first blood? It was Liam. From the off, Liam's using the C-bomb. He's cussing out left, right, centre. You're thinking, if you're trying to tell me this boy ain't got under your skin, who's that?
Could we see something like that play out physically
Yes.
on Saturday night.
I think that has given the fight some seasoning. I think that has given the fight some extra sauce.
But what I mean, not in emotion, I mean in actual display of
yes.
contact. Like the fight seesaws that way, in that maybe you're not expecting Chris to have been gotten the better of in an exchange.
I think it's given motivation for Chris. And it's definitely given motivation to Liam, because Liam
Liam bring something that Chris is not expecting, right?
Yes, he has the ability to do it, but he's the out fighter. You look at. I call Chris the champion slayer, because he's got ex-champions or ex-established fighters through the amateurs and pros, and got him at the right time at the back end of the career, part of the career where they're sliding down from being the best, and got him his physicality, his athleticism, his pace has been enough. Liam Smith is not the fighter he was, but the fighter he is, he's still good enough to beat most fighters. At European level, at least. And so,
is he good enough to beat Chris Eubank?
So of course he is. He has all the pedigree there to do it. Chris Eubank has the physicality and the stubbornness and the grit to also beat him at this stage now. If Liam was still up there, the fighter he was, I'd have said no, man, you're going to get dealt with. But his time is everything. And I think right now, both fighters can beat each other. Chris has the physicality to do it. Liam has the skill to do it. It's a case of how this fight plays out, who wants it the most. But I think today has shown you both fighters want it so much, it makes it an even tastier fight.
What's the thing that Eubank Jr. should be looking out for? A trap that he shouldn't fall into that Liam can lay?
Liam's going to be consistent, try and put consistent pressure on. And try and wear him down and be in your face. That's what Liam do. That's what he needs to look at. So Chris needs to devise a plan of how he's going to deal with that. Will he use his physicality to wrestle him up, make him feel uncomfortable, get him complaining to the referee? Just do things that make him not feel happy. Chris is a better fighter. Liam is a better boxer. Chris has got to make... Me and you could go out in the street and get a couple of beer glasses, close our eyes and start slinging. It doesn't matter that I've been a former world champion, because basically, once two people start fighting and stop thinking, it makes it even. And so Chris has to talk Liam into having a fight with him. Chris doesn't want to try and outbox him, because if he outboxes him, Liam wins. He needs to get him to draw him into a fight, pick him, poke him, tease him, aggravate him. So he gets, so he stops using his boxing brain, because that boxing brain is smart enough to outfox Chris. That's how he beats him.
Chris has described Liam as a dirty fighter. Is that a fair assessment?
It's what is a dirty fighter? Because when you get in the ring, it's warfare, mental as well as physical warfare, and you're going to use everything you can get away with until the referee steps in and tells you off and takes a point off. So, is he a dirty fighter? I don't know. You're going to get away with whatever you can. Ethically, are you the kind of fighter that if a man's hurt, you're going to step off and give him breathing space to get round? That's not fighting dirty. That's like making sure you're getting a man out of there. Are you going to get a shot that you can get away with if the fight's hard? Yes. That's part of fighting. You can't complain about that sort of stuff until... I remember I used to have 2 cups on when I boxed, because the amount of time I get licked in the seed bag. So I've got to think, right, I can't stop in the fight and say, wait, stop, hold on, give me a breather. I've got to fight for it. I ain't complaining to the referee. I'm not going to complain to the referee when I've been bitten on the shoulder. I'm going to fight. The referee's got to be the one that controls it, that controls the fight. So that dirty mentality, you need to get out of your head. You need to think, I don't care what I've got to do. I'm going to do everything I can get away with, because this is a fight. It's the only place you can legally get killed. So if you're going there being a bit all sensitive, saying, "Oh, you can't do this, you can't do that," you're in the wrong wrong game.
And lastly, if I can turn your analyst's attention to a couple of fights that are on the cusp. We just got news that Benavidez Plant has been made for March 25th. Yeah. How do you see that fight going?
Wow. I'm going Plant, man. I think Plant. I'm going Plant, man. I'm actually surprised that's done. Is it the deal? Is it done? Is it written?
That's where it's been reported.
See, I don't want to get excited about rumour. I want to get excited about fact. And if it's fact, then I'm going Plant.
And lastly, Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia. Hopefully it does happen May 15th.
So
April 15th.
Ryan Garcia is the only fighter I see that gets modern day boxing. You look at these YouTubers, you look at your Logan Pauls and KSIs, and these guys are getting amazing coverage, amazing fan base and everything because they and they're only novices, but they're getting world-class attention to getting world-class money. And that's because they understood how to sell themselves, how to package themselves. Boxers today need to move with the times. They need to understand what that fly on the wall nation we're in right now. They need the youngsters to want to follow them, to want to turn on and to want to watch him. Ryan Garcia is a fighter that you look at him, you think, you're like one of these YouTubers, you're young, you get it. He's following, he's ridiculous. And he understands he is his business, but he can fight as well. And so Ryan Garcia, I think he's that fighter that has the ability to give Tank all the problems in the world and all the punch power in the world. And I know you're smiling thinking, well, that's a good shout, Johnny. I'm not saying Ryan Garcia beats him, but I'm saying he can beat him. I'm saying if there's anybody going to do it, Ryan Garcia is that young man because he's naive and ignorant enough to think he can slay a dragon.
I realize that we're not gambling men on the screen, but if we were, where are you putting your chips?
I'm going Tank. I've got to go Tank.
Now, you mentioned KSI, so I can't let you get out of here without the December that looms on the horizon. KSI and Jake Paul.
Yeah.
Who wins it?
KSI has proved that he's gotten better. And I know Jake Paul and KSI, these guys get a lot of stick because they're YouTubers, but they can actually fight as long as they stay in the lane. They're novices in our game, in our established game. They're novices, and so KSI, I think, can pull this off. He has the punch power, but Logan Paul,
Jake Paul.
I think Jake Paul has the ability to turn him over, and I would side towards Jake Paul because Jake Paul has been more consistent. But I know these guys are both putting the work in the gym behind the scenes, so I won't put my house on it. I wouldn't put my reputation on it, but I just say what I see, and I think both kids can fight. And I know boxing purists will think, nah, Nelson, you can't say that. They can fight. They're young guys that are learning boxing and they understand their business.
And you understand the business of broadcasting and analyzing, which is why this is always one of my favorite interviews of the day. Johnny Nelson, we're going to have to get our own show one day. But until then, we'll keep doing these episodes.
Every time.
Radio Rahim with Johnny Nelson.